Republic of China Government Headquarters, Canton, 12th June 1924. Dear Mr. Ford, Mr. Ng Jing Kai, the bearer of this letter, informs me that you are likely to visit China in the not distant future. Should you do so, it would give me not a little pleasure to welcome you in South China, where, it is commonly said, much of the intelligence, energy, and wealth of this country can be found. I know and I have read of your remarkable work in America, and I think that you can do similar work in China on a much vaster and more significant scale. In a sense, it may be said that your work in America has been more individual and personal, whereas here in China, you would have an opportunity to express and embody your mind and ideals in the enduring form of a new industrial system. I am of the view that China may be the cause of the next world war if she remains economically undeveloped and thus become an object of exploitation and international strife on the part of the great powers. For this reason, I began, as soon as the armistice was signed in Europe, to think out a plan for the international development of China, with a view to its consideration by the powers at the peace conference in 1919. This plan has since been worked out in my book, The International Development of China, which was published in Shanghai in 1921 and in New York in 1922 by Messrs. Putman Sons. I now realize that it is more or less hopeless to expect much from the present governments of the powers. There is much more to hope, in my opinion, from a dynamic worker like yourself, and this is why I invite you to visit us in South China in order to study, at first hand, what is undoubtedly one of the greatest problems of the 20th century. Mr. Ford's secretary informed him that the letter was received, but Mr. Ford, they said, had no plans of visiting China in the future. What is of interest is that Sun Yat Sen predicted that the Second World War would start in China. And it indeed started in China in 1937 during the Marco Polo Bridge incident, which is the start of World War II. And he predicted this because China was industrially underdeveloped, which was indeed true because Japan thought they could conquer all of China within 3 months because of how backward, corrupt, and industrially undeveloped the country was. They were wrong. It took them 8 years and they lost. But this is a very interesting letter. And if you probably know a bit about Ford, he is a great American industrialist, capitalist, but he has some socialistic elements, as in he paid his workers more, gave them lots of rights, lots of privileges, and he gave away their patents for the Ford technology for his Model T for free to the public. He didn't charge money for it. He liked to give away technology. And so this is probably the new industrial system that Sun Yat sen is envisioning, because Sun Yat sen also likes to use capital, work with capital, but also has lots of socialistic elements because he is a socialist in the sense that he wants the wealth of society to be shared. Um, Not in terms of class struggle like in Marxism, but this is definitely a great letter. And it would be interesting to see what would happen if Henry Ford and Sun Yat sen met.